Welcome, kings and queens, to another episode of Unapologetic, your number one podcast. This is the show where kings and queens tell their legacies and on. So get ready for the gems to drop and pull up to the table because we're ready. We are back, my people. We got another special guest sitting here with us. We have the Honorable Kendra Robinson, 14th Circuit District, right? Court District? Or is it court?
You close.
I'm close?
You close. I'm a candidate for the 14th Circuit.
Oh, a candidate. Look, I'm speaking into an existence right now.
I received
because
it
I feel like you already got it. I'm giving it to you because I applaud you for being so young and so hungry to help. I feel like be a leader and guide our community, because judges hold a lot of power in the community, a lot of respect as well. So and the judges that follow the law and abide by it, I feel like should get the most up praises and stuff like that. Especially for you, man. Congratulations on actually running to be be a candidate. But I have to get my sponsor shout out to the US Café, located on 2300 Maffet, right here in Muskegon Heights. Y'all make sure y'all go down there and network. Taste the bistro. Oh man, yeah, listen to it. Good food.
That was my lunch today. Shrimp and grits. I had it.
Really? Oh man, I gotta get that one. So make sure y'all go US Café, man, 2300 Maffet, Muskegon Heights, Michigan. Now I'm ready for the questions because I have a lot to ask, man. Because you like I said previously, you have been doing so many great things. And it's funny now that I've just recently hearing your name like on a broad scale, after all this hard work that you've been doing to get to this point in your life. But before we hit that, who is Kendra?
Who is Kendra?
Kendra without the honorable part to it,
All right. Kendra Robinson is my name. Born and raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I was brought to this lovely city because I found a young man who was raised right here on Apple, a former Big Red, who scooped me up at Woodland Mall in Grand Rapids around 2008. So Muskegon's been my home ever since. Okay. I live in the Fruitport community. But Kendra Robinson, who am I? I am I'm an inner city girl. I got Southern roots. Most my parents are from Mississippi, the Delta, and the Durant area. And my parent is actually a pastor. I've been a PK for now 28 years of my life. And I've been raised not only with morals, to have integrity, to be a woman of her word, but honestly, being a PK, you cannot be in that place. Being in that church, being in that arena for your life, Monday through Friday, the same routine, just a whole different folks, without truly learning the meaning of service. And I respect that. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's been my heart, it's been my love. And you are now on a bigger platform, really hearing Kendra Robinson, because you know what? I've never done anything that I've done for purposes of acknowledgement. I've never needed my name on any poster. I think I started the conversation before you even started recording. I don't even like to be acknowledged. And I don't think when you have a spirit to give, it really is the best reward of it is to see others receive. And it's the reason why I went into law. It's the reason why I'm a public servant today. And it's more of a reason why I want to go into this judgeship.
Hold on, time out. Hold on. That was perfect. You talking about, talking about you're nervous about talking about yourself. That was beautiful. That was perfect.
It was true. It was true.
Yeah, that's honesty. That what makes it 100% Kendra. But what else can you give the audience that that's a fun side of Kendra, man? Because it's all when people think of of your background, they thinking like, oh, she study and work all day, ain't no life. So what's the
I definitely don't. Well, law school was a big yes. When I was in law school, I did study all day, literally. But fun side, I love to travel, Mel. I do. When I graduated from Western, well, I could tell you this: I love to run. Running is just my relief. I ran track when I was in high school. I went to state every year, and unfortunately, you do not get selected or recruited out of relays, and that was the majority of what I ran. Right. Once I stepped out and did a single race or a race that didn't involve other people is when I got noticed. By that time, I was already in college. So my first day on, my college coach came to me because I walked on to the Western Michigan University's team. Right. And I walked on because the day before I got rejected out of Western Michigan's orchestra. I play a viola, and I don't know if you've ever seen this instrument, but it looks just like a violin. And
oh, that's the fancy way to say it? Viola.
No, it truly is a whole different instrument. Like if you see the violins in the orchestra and they're on that real side of the corner of the orchestra, the violas are like right in the middle, right next to the people who play the show.
Oh, okay. See, I'm learning something new. I thought all of them were violins. They all
there's violins, there's second violins, it's violists, and then there's cellists who actually sit down and play their instrument between their legs. But that was my instrument, and I played for about 10 years, and I competed all over the state. And that was my thing. You couldn't tell me that I wasn't going to be on concert, traveling, going to some art school. But the first day of Western Michigan University, I went to try out for the orchestra and quickly got a card for private lessons.
Stop it. Get some help.
Didn't understand it. Hurt my heart. I said, it's okay. I ain't going to tell me no. I don't take no from nobody.
Oh, man. Quickly, here's my business card.
Oh, like in the same piece that I was playing, I had just won in what they call a solo ensemble, which is a competitive kind of string competition. Okay. And so I didn't understand it. But once I saw the level of people who were playing, yeah, I'll take the card, whatever. It's cool. It's cool. But I love running. So the next day, I went to the athletic director there at Western. I said, where's the track team? I just want to stay in shape and work out because that's what I was doing anyway. I just went to state a few months earlier before I went to college, and I tried out for the track team. And the rules with the college with the NCAA is that if you're a walk-on to a collegiate team, you can't get a scholarship unless you place into your division's championship. So for me, the only way I could get a scholarship was if I placed in the top 8 of any kind of event. Top eight. Wow,
they ain't playing.
No, they're not. They're not. I was a short sprinter at Iowa Hills. I did the 200 and the 400. And I thought I was good, but I couldn't win. I couldn't place in anything the first 6 months of practice or in indoor competition. So that as outdoor came, which is where my blood gets going for everything. I went out, and our senior runner had what they call shin splits, and her legs, she couldn't run.
That hurt.
She couldn't run. It did. They painful. Jesus. They called me like, Kendra, we're going to Indiana. We're going to the Indiana Light Show. We need you to run a 400. Look, I said, I've never ran a 400 in my life. Just stick with the girl in front of you. I'm like, all right, I do it. So I go in, young 18-year-old, never ran the 400.
Yeah.
And literally that first race, Mel, I placed 6th in the whole championship. The whole MAC conference. And I never saw a 200 or 100 again. So I continued to run.
That's boss level right there.
Yeah, they couldn't touch me. Well, there was this girl at Ball State that always continued just knocked me out of the dang on waters, but it was all good. I was going for her. I couldn't wait to see her at championships, which is where I did. Heck and yeah. I ended up placing 7th, and of course they had to give me a scholarship after that, and it was it was history after that. So,
wow. So you were hungry coming out of high school.
You know what? I've always been a woman with drive. I really have.
Yeah.
And running up, I think I still do it now. My house is literally across the street from a trail that runs through Muskegon and a few other counties. And almost every day of every summer for the past 14 years, I ran up and down it. Just my thing. I like running.
Need to step my game up, y'all. I need to step my game up. You over here killing me. Oh man. So
I'll tell you, wait, you said some fun facts. I'm gonna give you some real fun ones. I lived in South Africa. I lived in South Africa for almost 2 years of my life.
South Africa?
I did.
Like home.
Yeah, home. I had a few extra credits after my senior year at Western, and I was able to graduate early. And a financial advisor told me, Kendra, you've always wanted to study abroad. This is your opportunity to study. And I said, okay, how do I do it? She says, you have to go through our program. We have Australia available, and we have Africa or South Africa. Wow. I want to go to both. I spin the globe literally wherever my finger went closer to. I said, that's where I'm going. South Africa, it almost touched on like straight on the dot. The city that had available through our international program was Cape Town. And I know that there's some students, they have a program here, I think, that they actually pay for some students to go to South Africa. I think every year. I've heard it on the radio before, but it was an awesome experience. If you ever get to stamp your passport or get one, I would encourage anybody to go, if not just to the motherland, to specifically Cape Town, South Africa. It is a eye-opening experience. I literally went there.
That sounds dope. I like that.
It was wonderful.
That's awesome. Wonderful.
So I guess the funny thing I can say about that is that I dropped my classes when I got over there. Every single day.
Repeat that. I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit. You did what now? I think it froze. We have technical difficulties at this moment, but we'll be right back after these messages.
What?
So South Africa, can you give us a little detail of what you was doing? What did you see? Because that is awesome that you are able to travel halfway across the planet at a young age and enjoy that and have that experience.
It was truly a once in a lifetime experience. I've been back 4 times to visit, and none of them were like the first time going. So 24-hour flight, pretty much, depending on where you leave from the US. But I can tell you that, at the time that I went, apartheid was about 9 years out. And for those who are familiar with what apartheid was, it was a time where there was severe discrimination laws, quite similar to what we would have, what we call Jim Crow laws here in the US. Wow. Post-Civil War. But these laws actually separated people by statuses, by the tint of their skin. Here in the US, especially during slavery times, if you were black, right? But in apartheid times, because of the civil discourse and the European rule that had came into the area, there was true discrimination and separation of the people depending on what level of tint your skin was in. So there was obviously white, and then there will be what we would consider in the US as being mixed. That's what the closest I can say to it. And it's a mix of anything, right? Those who kind of look Alaskan or Australian, or what we put together as black and white, would be all in the area that people would call Afrikaans. And they were kind of the second level of people status-wise compared to whites. And then there were, of course, people who look like you and I, who they consider black, all right? And although there are a wide variety of different cultures and ethnicities in South Africa, especially when it comes to Black culture. There's Ndebele and Zimbabwean, and then there's I could go on for a while, but they all were considered the same. They were Black, and what I found when I was there was that even though people who tent-wise looked like us, they also gave an extra status kind of push of discriminatory benefits to those if you put a pencil in their hair and it fell out, right? And even though they looked as dark as you and I, then they were also considered, if not Afrikaans, status-wise, a step above Black people, with more coarse, or what we would call Black people hair.
It was so it was that detailed on how they tried to discriminate.
It was.
Wow.
It was.
Crazy.
It was their version of a Jim Crow, but it was a much more harsh, I would say.
Yeah.
Just because in our experience, it truly was in the southern area of our country, correct? Yeah. Especially of the post-slavery days. But in South Africa, it was the entire country. It was the entire country. And there was a specific area in Cape Town, they call it the 9th District Ward, that they have now historically made, trying to keep it as simple as possible. It's a historical area of where a lot of people were actually pushed or migrated to, because if you were Black, you could not live in the city. And for those reasons.
Wow.
You could not.
They ruthless. Oh, man.
You can actually work in the city, but you could not live in the city. And so as a result, the many different Black cultures of people came together, and they started making their own cities and living off the side of highways, living off the side of the major cities. And those cities was known today as townships. And they are still existing to these days. They are truly pretty much independently functioning. But for many years, they didn't have running water, electricity, schooling, and allowed the people to survive, would come out for their daily wages, work, take the train, service the white people or different other people of the city, and then go back to their townships. And so what I did once I dropped my classes I no longer needed was I lived in those townships. I didn't sleep in those townships, but I lived in those townships from the sun up to sundown, meeting people, servicing and working with Native African people, South African young girls and boys, teaching them English. And it was an experience I'll never forget. The experience there was that people were so richly happy and so appreciative of the freedoms they had to be able to come and go, and to be able to go into a movie theater or to eat at a restaurant, to actually be in the same vehicle as somebody with a different tint of skin. And I'm talking to people who went to the University of Cape Town with me, who actually lived in it. These days today, Mel, we don't know anybody our age who got to experience slavery, right? We have no idea what that physically felt like. And we definitely don't know anybody our age who got to experience Jim Crow laws. We have our parents or our aunties or our great-grandparents or whatever like that. But personally, these people at 22 and 23 and 24 years old can remember exactly what our ancestors, our older people, our parents actually went through. And the drive to do well, to do better was just so right now, it was strong. You felt it everywhere. We were in the middle of the Bush election, and I know you don't hear it, but over there they did. They'd be like, Kendra, you got an American accent, don't you talk? Because he had just got reelected. And a lot of people weren't excited about the times. They look at our news and our movies like we listen to 103.7 or 100.1 or 104.5. They live in the American culture of what goes on in our country, because it has such a direct effect on what happens in theirs, from the inflation and deflation of their dollar, which is called the rand, on a daily basis. I had to pay rent while I was over there. And I knew by looking at the paper, it was the newspaper at the time, by how the GDP affected their dollar, when it was a good time for me to go to the ATM to withdraw my money so I can get more that day versus the day before.
Wow.
Yeah. $300 one day in the US could have been $410 15 days later. So it was a very good experience. One I'll never forget, always cherish, but it absolutely taught you to appreciate your life you have here. It does.
Man,
it
I feel like I experienced that with you just for what? That's
it was wonderful.
They hear the excitement, they hear the pain, and also I feel like I felt that experience because you connected to the people of where you were, you know, to the culture. You tapped into your roots. It seems like when you went to South Africa.
Yeah. I felt like, oh, this is where I came from. You know, I've never done one of those ancestry tests. I haven't done any of those DNA follow-ups or whatever. I do know where my direct descendants are from, but I don't know past my great-great-grandmother or great-great-grandfather. And I felt like I was home. The way I was just treated. You know, you always call me queen. They gave me the nickname while I was over there. It was Noble Clay, and it meant beautiful. And to this day, it's the name that I refer to myself when I speak to anybody. I befriended when I was in South Africa.
What was the name again?
Noble Clay. It's Nobuhle. Noble Clay.
Noble Clay. Okay,
yeah.
I like that.
They got a better click than I do, but
yeah. Okay. I can imagine Noble Clay. I gotta practice that. I can talk. Say, look, I know some words that you don't know now.
I don't know too many more than Noble Clay.
From South Africa, man, I'm spurring my words. I'm so happy about that trip. I feel like I was there with you.
You gotta go now. You gotta go.
Please take me with you, man. Me and the missus would be happy to hop on the plane. You hear me?
I coordinated. Yes, sir.
So with the South Africa trip, it sounds like that helped push you even further into your career. I'm going to your career choices at this point now that I understand your drive and understand more of Kendra. Now, Kendra is also a lawyer and going to taking in existence, going to be the 14th Circuit judge pretty soon.
I receive it.
So how is all this, or how are you able to balance all this out now? And what were some of the steps and challenges that you went through to get to this?
Okay. Absolutely. It was about a year and a half into my South Africa journey that my mother said, okay, girl, I'm sick of sending you money. Come on, get real and do something with yourself. And I already knew, Mel, that I wanted to go to law school, but I had a goal of filling up my passport before I went. But the money wasn't there. So I came home, and it was immediately then that I started to apply into law schools. I did all over the country. And knowing what my LSAT score, the law school admission test, and knowing what my GPA was from my undergraduate school, which are the two determinant factors that get you into law school, right. I knew what schools I could be eligible to go in. And at that point, I had received 2 acceptance letters or offers to go to 2 different schools. One was here in Michigan, and then another was in Florida. Ooh. And like I said, I was just applying, right? I was just reaching. I was just reaching. Really? I never really desired to go to school in Florida, but you want to see your options, right?
Right.
I traveled.
What school was it? I'm sorry.
I want to say Florida A&M, and if it wasn't A&M, it was the University of Florida. I do not remember. Okay. I do not remember which one. You're taking me back plus 15 years here. Here we go.
Got
no
to.
more than that. More than that, Mel.
Really?
But,
we ain't gonna say that. We ain't gonna...
Listen, I graduated from law school in 2010, so I've been out for at least almost 12 years now. So, but I applied much. It's been a while since I applied, but it was a school in Florida, and I wasn't really even interested. I just wanted to see where I could try to go. Yeah. And Thomas and Cooley offered me admission to their school, and I entered. I started going to law school there about the summer of 2005. And I will tell you, I already had took a few pre-law school classes. And so I had the feel of what they were teaching and how it was taught. For those who aren't familiar with how law school is, it's a one exam. That's it. You're in or you're out. 16, 15 weeks of 3-hour classes once a week. And it's just to the grind and everywhere in between. And if you are truly not disciplined enough to stay on that path, you can quickly fall off. And one thing I can say about Cooley is that they had a wide range of acceptance, and they had also the highest range of failure, because they allowed so many people to have an opportunity to get into law school who probably wouldn't have been eligible other places. But their curriculum was very strict, as I'm sure many of the law schools were, and they did not give a lot of space for failure. I mean, and in the law field, as in the medical field or anywhere else, I mean, that's necessary, right?
Of course.
It's just necessary. You want a competent attorney, so
you got to keep a high standard.
Yeah, you got to. This is you ain't playing with people's lives here, but I really enjoyed my law school experience. Some classes were difficult, but for the most part, I enjoyed learning. I enjoyed every topic that we pretty much went to, except taxation. I still don't understand taxation. You will never be able to retain me on taxation.
To be the numbers.
Don't talk to me about no numbers. I'm not your girl, never will be. But it was one of the required courses at Cooley. And I think that probably was a weeding out process too. The majority of law schools do not require taxation, but really? Cooley did. They do not.
Okay.
The majority of them. But I knew that in your final year of law school, you get to actually select what you be considering undergraduate classes, kind of electives, right? Okay. Those classes that aren't standard for every single person, whether you go to Harvard, U of M, or Thomas and Cooley. You have to do the standard core classes. But in that last year, you get to pick things of kind of that interest you, and for me, it was people oriented, and I told you I wasn't a numbers girl. I wanted to, I always loved family law. I did. And so I took family law classes. I didn't know for sure where I really wanted to go. I took some immigration law classes and juvenile justice classes. And I absolutely fell in love. Aww. It was just, I thought I was going to be this.
Okay.
I knew I was going to be this hardcore family, divorce, custody attorney. Yeah. And as it turned out, once I actually started to, I'll go back. I'll go back for a little bit. I graduated in 2010, again, not knowing exactly where I wanted to go with my legal walk, but I actually worked in a few different areas before I actually started practicing. I'm from Grand Rapids, and so immediately my mother, who was a teacher at the time in Grand Rapids, connected me with some people at the Grand Rapids Public Schools, and I subbed there for a while and got connected with the legal community there and worked on the legal board a little bit with one of the attorneys and worked with youth advocacy. And I did that they called us a youth advocate.
Okay.
I did that for like 3 years. And in today's descriptions, I would think it would kind of be maybe like one of those hallway kid walker, I'm gonna keep you in control because the teacher can't kind of people,
okay. That's just a fancy way.
I ain't gonna tell your mama, but boy, sit your butt down. You can talk to the kids a little bit better than we can, so we're gonna call you over. And I felt that, and you know what, as somebody might say that that was beneath you to take that position, but for me, it just gained in character for me. I enjoyed working with kids. I still do. Yeah. I would have never known that once I actually started practicing law. The first area I actually was able to go into was the family division of the circuit court, which is working with juveniles and neglect and abuse children. So that is exactly where I ended up. It wasn't divorce and custody, which is more of a private attorney's field. But from the government standpoint, it was right in the area you can work when you're going to work with children.
Wow.
Prior to me working, go ahead.
I wanted to, so is what you're doing for Muskegon County, the 6th district?
No.
Okay.
We have two different, you might hear two different numbers in Muskegon. You're going to hear 60th, the 60th district, and then you'll hear the 14th circuit. Unique thing about Muskegon, Mel, is that the 14th circuit encompasses the entire 60th district. So a person like me who is actually running for office for a district court seat would actually be campaigning the entire jurisdiction of the same person who would run for 14th circuit, because we're such a smaller city, right? So
that's a broad.
That's a lot. It's a lot. I just talked to another judge out in she's in the 3rd circuit, and she was talking about how she had ran for a district court position, and it literally encompassed like 3 cities. So imagine like Muskegon Heights, Muskegon, and Mona Shores. I don't know. That's it. But for us, right. You got to do the entire place. So I'm in 14th circuit. I started out in neglect and abuse and family court. And I did that for a few years. Then I went to district court, which only dealt with misdemeanors. But the current place I'm in right now is the exact same place that is open for a seat for the judicial bench, which is the 14th circuit. And that's where I am every day. It deals with serious felonies and all felony cases that could potentially leave somebody in prison with whether they be violent or non-violent crimes.
Wow. But I feel like that is awesome, because I feel like young adults, we come with open mind compared to, to the OGs that's been on the stands for so long. Not to say that they haven't paved the way for us. Thank you.
Absolutely.
But however, we tend to see, especially on YouTube, the TV shows, sitcoms, that the older judge, if he or she is not this sweet, kind individual, they're this hard, rough, big-headed, type of person. And some of my friends, we're all professional in our own profession, be thinking the same thing. And it'd be like, man, come on, man, you
just can't relate.
Can't relate to it.
You too attached.
So
and I will speak from the judges that I've practiced in front of, and I've practiced in front of every single judge that's in our court as we speak today. I would say for the most part that the judges are fair, right? I would say for the most part. But I also say that there are absolutely some judges who are on the bench, not just here in Muskegon County, but a lot of places, who truly have the heart to want to do right, the fortitude to try to exhibit that in their orders and their judgments.
Right.
But Mel, as you know, if you do not have that connection with the people you are ordering, you are judging, you are making opinions about, it is very, very hard to make not only quick decisions, but even thoughtful decisions about what's best for them if you can't relate. I mean, just it. If you can't relate, if you can't understand or empathize or even hear what they've been through, I think so many things that our judges have to do are mundane and the same thing every day, especially when it comes to like arraignments, things like that. You got 15 of them, you got 3 hours to go, you're tired. And it's not to say that the judges aren't listening and they're not being thoughtful with what they're doing. But I believe that because I am fresh into it, because I am the person who's standing next to the person I want you to actually hear, that coming from my perspective, that I would have the ear to be able to not only hear what's before me, but because I've had to stand in those shoes for those people over and over, day in and day in, month after month, year after year, that I can be at most empathetic and compassionate to what they're saying, to take it into consideration, not just to treat it like this everyday procedure.
Oh, if we was on like the little inauguration bench, I like that speech. That'd have been a good speech right there. You got to write this down.
It ain't the speech, it's my truth, Phil. It's my truth.
You got to write it down. You got to write this down. We need a book.
Well, you said this was recorded, right?
Yeah. But
that's all we need.
We need a book, though. I feel like you have so much to tell, so much to teach. And even though you're still learning yourself, it's how you
absolutely every day
deliver that message that is so awesome. It's cool. You don't hear lawyers or judges speaking in this tone. Not that many. Well,
let me say this, Mel. I'm a public defender, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just in general, public defenders don't get a good rap. Just common knowledge. They just don't. No. you got way too many cases. You way underpaid, and you just trying to hurry up and plead them out. You can care less if they're guilty or not. You just want to get the case off your desk. I've always, from the time I started doing, especially criminal defense, had the goal, never knowing that this judgeship would be in line at the date it is. I wanted to change the representation, the reputation of a public defender. You know what, Judge, I need a moment. I need to speak. I know, but I need to speak with him right quick. I want you to understand. I make my clients recite what they're going to hear or what they can expect to hear at a sentence before we even get on record. I want to hear it come out your mouth. I want to make sure you know that you understand what's going to be happening. I try to make this. I just literally this week I've had 36 jail visits. 7 to 9, 36. Just last night I had jail visits from 7 to 9:30. And Monday I had them again, 7 to 9:30. Kids running in the background. Yeah, y'all don't mind the kids.
Wow.
But these are people who need the most sincere time of yours, right? Their life is at risk, whatever that may be. Whether they might be a substance abuser or
they need help.
Maybe they need help.
Right.
No matter what the case is, and regardless if they've been through the system or not, I'm not talking about no hardened criminal, which the majority of my cases are not. I'm not talking about some murderer or somebody who's just been doing children wrong left and right. I'm not. The majority, 98% of my cases are seriously nonviolent ones. They are people who are probably going through the system. They can't get out the system. They're violating probation. They caught with a gun in their car. I mean, just caught with a gun in the car. I mean, nobody said they shot it. They ain't harmed anybody. It's against the law. It's absolutely against the law if you don't have it properly. But the majority of the people who will sit and stand next to me every day are not the people who are offending violently other people. Not at all. And of course I get those cases, but they need something else to intervene before they can get their life right? And at minimum, I just want them to walk away from me saying, regardless of what happens in this case, even if I don't like the outcome, one thing I absolutely do know is that my attorney listened to me. And I'll let you do your own research on that. But that's what I want the reputation, not only of me to be, but the public defender. We don't have to be that same old kind of representation. Our county needs different. It deserves better.
I hear it. Y'all see the judge, man. Please elect. Appoint. Please elect. Come on, man. We need her on the board, man. I really have been doing my research and following and studying, learning, and it's a lot to take in. For I feel like for an average citizen that's finally getting to understand and want to learn about what's going on in communities.
Yes.
For me, I get confused on the circuit, the district, that alone for me is confusing. So when you get to the details of certain stats of each person's position and stuff like that, it's like, can we sit down and have a cup of coffee first before we
need it?
Yeah, I need it.
And people are going to need it for this election now. This is going to be an election Muskegon has never had before. There's literally 3 positions that's going to be on the ballot. They're all 14th Circuit Court, and they're all different positions on the bench. And the one I'm going for is an open seat because the judge whose seat I'm choosing to go into he has to retire. And there's going to be other names on that ballot. I absolutely know those names that are going to be that ballot.
Right.
And I know it's going to be my job to let the community know who I am, what I'll do for them, and why I can stand different from these people, or I'm the best candidate. And all I know is I just got to be me. I just got to be me.
One last thing, Queen. I got to get this out. I wanted to know. I have to know.
Let's go.
What is, how can I want to put it in a way that I could pick your brain. All right. I'm ready.
All right.
What is the biggest thing that you're going to try to implement when you are elected in the courtroom? What are you going to bring to the seat? Besides, you said it before with the public defender, but as a judge, what are you going to bring to that seat?
I'm going to bring what I've been gaining from every single client that sat or stood next to me over all these years. I can bring 100% relatableness. I can understand what you've been through because I've had to stand in your shoes for you. 100%. That's it.
Public defender's mindset is moving and trans. That's it. Okay.
That's it. I'm going to enforce the law because I ain't got a choice but to enforce the law.
Right.
I'm going to enforce the law, but the way I'm going to do it is coming from hearing you. I'm going to hear you. I don't care what that record says before you step before me. You are more than just your record. I'm going to hear you first.
I like that. So when is can you tell the people when is the election ending? Like when do they choose the candidate?
Okay, so for this judicial seat, there's going to be 2 elections: the primary, which is August 2nd, 2022, and then there's the general election, which will be November, I believe, 2nd, 2022.
Okay.
Because there's going to be multiple people on the ballot, and I know for a fact that there's going to be more than 2 on the position that I'm going for. It's my understanding that the top 2 people out of the seat that I'm going for will move forward. So, and there's, they only allow 2 people on the final ballot. So, August 2nd, 2022, and it's boots on the ground for me and my people. Boots on the ground. We have our campaign kickoff coming up this Saturday, Mel. I don't know. Can I say it?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay. Do your thing.
February 27th, it'll be at US Café. I'm kicking it off right here in Muskegon Heights.
US Café, y'all, told you.
February 27th, 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We'll be there. It'll be our campaign kickoff and our first fundraiser. It's my intentions to make sure that everybody in this county gets an opportunity to meet and greet me. But before that happens, I'm starting in Muskegon Heights, and I'll be on my way from there. So if you are available, please come out Sunday, 1 to 4, February 27th. I'll be there to meet you at US Café.
Y'all be there, man, because I'm gonna be there.
Come on, there'll be food there too.
Yeah, you know it. The US Café, man. I love that place, but I love that you're in the community, man. You showing the people, you're showing me that I'm serious. I want to be here, and plus we need this, especially in our society now, because a lot of what I am seeing is just, entertainment. Everybody want to be flashy, big-headed and stuff like that, but where's the order? Where's the responsibilities? Where's the big brother, big sister type of talks that we need in this world? So I thank you for breaking that out and making it known that regardless of where you are, what position you're in, you can be that. I like it.
Yep. Absolutely. I thank you for the time, man. I appreciate this. This was nice.
Oh man, I'm glad you enjoyed it. See, y'all, look, y'all, I'm put you out there. She was nervous, y'all. I ain't going to
still am.
She nervous, y'all. But see how she took over. Yeah, we thank you for coming on to the show. You're welcome to the Unapologetic family. You're always welcome here. Make sure y'all go and see her February 27th, 1 to 4 at the US Café located at 2300 Maffet, man, right here in Muskegon Heights. Make sure y'all go do that. But thank you, Queen. Y'all already know, man. Vote for elect Kendra Robinson. Make sure y'all go down and do y'all thing, do your research. You know, I always tell y'all, read before you click or sign that name.
Please do.
And
please do. Now they're welcome to.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to let them out. I have a website, elect Kendra Robinson, on Facebook, and our actual website will be ready, I think, within the next 24 hours. So any kind of information and background checks and all that kind of stuff you want to do, you could do there. You can also feel free to shoot me an email at kendrarobinson@gmail.com. I will get back with you within 24 hours. I want people to feel free to ask me whatever they want.
Y'all see, y'all got it, man. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on the channel. We in Z.G.E Studios. Already my brother Adam Miles, man, the coldest videographer in the world. In the world. I'm putting him out there. I'm putting him on the highest pedestal I could put him on. But thank y'all for tuning in to Unapologetic Podcast. Thank you, Queen Miss Kendra Robinson, for being a part of the show. And make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. And all the details that you have heard today will be on the description right below of the video. So stay tuned, stay unapologetic, and I'll see y'all next time.